Hi, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, please feel free to subscribe if you like what I'm bringing you for content. Like this video if you feel like it's been useful to you, and feel free to comment with things that maybe have worked for you on this topic or things that you're using, or if you've tried any of these things that I am sharing today, just your experience with them, that would be awesome. I love reading those comments. But yeah, and if you know someone who's maybe starting on their homeschool journey and needs help in this area, you can also share this video. All those things help the algorithm just to get this information out there. But yeah, I will say today I am going to be talking about beginning reading. I will say that my first two kiddos picked up on reading super easy. I felt super blessed. It was not a challenge at all for them. My daughter, my second born, she still absolutely loves reading. Like, if she's in her room, she's probably reading. She likes to read a lot of like manga specifically. So she still loves reading even at almost 18 years old now. Like, that's one of her favorite things to do other than drawing. My oldest, he will read. I don't think he's specifically super into reading, but he does read. He reads daily. But then my other kids came along and we've had some struggles. So I am sure there's probably some dyslexia in there. My husband, when he was a child, had to deal with dyslexia a bit. But he got some tutoring early on, so it's not really a problem for him. And for me, it's just really been finding the right fit that works. So like a bunch of my middle kiddos, like struggling to read has been a huge thing. Except for like my two youngest, they've been picking up on reading pretty quickly and growing and doing really well in that area. So they haven't really been a problem. But then the rest of my kids in the middle, because I have 10 total. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that, but I have 10 kids total. My middle ones have struggled a bit. A couple of them have grown a ton just this year alone. My one that's going into 10th grade, he reads perfectly now, but it was a struggle for a long time. I'd say this year was like the first year where he's really been able to like just take off and read like crazy. So he's doing really well, but it did take him a long time. So those of you who have kids that are struggling, don't worry, it'll happen. It just takes figuring out what works, what's gonna get that to click in their head. But yeah, and I have a couple kids that have just also really grown this year. I have my third grader who's going to be in fourth this coming year in 2024 to 2025 school year. She just like all of a sudden developed this huge love of reading, and I'll share some of the things that have helped her to really love reading. So first off, I'm going to show you what I used for my oldest. So my oldest too, and I even use this for my other kids, I used Hooked on Phonics. Like, I know it's kind of a meme and kind of a joke because it's been around for so long that there's been like some jokes. I remember seeing like a shirt when I was like in high school that I thought was really funny that said Hooked on Phonics worked for me, but like most of the words were spelt incorrectly. So it was kind of funny, but it really does work. My two oldest just like took off with this. Then I tried it with my other kids, and they got some of it. Like the pre-K one is mostly letter recognition and the sounds they make. And I think it mostly, if I remember correctly, yeah, there's like flashcards and stuff. And there's like a DVD for them to watch, then some readers for them to read through. Just some simple readers. We use this all the way up through second grade with my two oldest. And it worked great for them. I do believe Hooked on Phonics is mostly on the computer or on an app now through Phonics games and stuff, but I think you can still find the DVD and the book series on Amazon, because that's where I got this like 13 or 14 years ago, because I used this, like I said, with my oldest. So probably more like 14, maybe even 15 years ago. So this is pretty old, but I still have it. I'm not sure that I have all the discs anymore, but yeah. So it had letter flashcards and then like pictures to go with each letter to help them get the sound. And then there's a workbook, which I used for them, but I made it so they weren't marking it up. I just kind of like showed them the pages so that they weren't marking it up so I could use it for other kids. And then there's stickers, which I also didn't use, but I think I might have given away to one of my kids, like, here, you want some star stickers? And then, like I said, the readers. So this, I highly recommend it. Like I said, it works fantastically for my first two kids, and some of my other kids did pick up some stuff from this, but since they, like I said, were struggling with reading, it wasn't quite the best fit. So yeah, so highly recommend Hooked on Phonics. I will link everything I discuss in the comments today, so that way if any of you are interested in checking any of these curricula out, you can go look with a direct link. It makes it nice and simple. I mean, it's not too hard, but to just like type in the search for it, but it's a lot easier just to have a link. So I like to link those things for you to make it a lot easier. Now, the next book I got was something that I heard a lot of people use and was supposed to be like this amazing thing. And so I got it. It was kind of expensive. I thought it was kind of expensive for a book, but it didn't work great for us, but I know it works really well for others, but for us, it was not a good fit. So that one is Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons. I will say that it's a good format. It does use phonics, which I am a huge proponent of phonics. Like, I feel like that is the best way to learn how to read, better than memorization. I know there's some words that are sight words because like they don't follow the normal phonics rules. But anyway, so I do like that it's phonics. I do like that there's a lot of people that it works for, just not us. So what I do like is that it does get kids used to moving from left to right on words. I'm gonna try to find an example. So it does introduce a letter, and with the letter, you're supposed to go from the dot to follow the arrow, and it's just a letter sound. So like, it's just getting them used to going from left to right for reading. So yeah, left to right. For a second there, I thought I was confusing myself because this is backwards on my camera. So left to right, you just don't go, And so it's just familiarizing them with letter sounds, but it's not necessarily going in alphabetical order in this book. So this is a good book. It's just, I feel like because it lacked pictures and it's just a lot of like stuff for the teacher to read, not really so much for the kid to read until you get further in. And there are pictures, but not that many, and they're kind of small. But it does like have like an emphasis letter, like how you're really going to emphasize the E, how that's going to be said, and the A is really tiny, so you know it's like a silent A. And I like that. There's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of good things with this book. It just wasn't for us. I do like the arrows, how it shows, you know, left to right. I like how there's an emphasis on that. But yeah, so I don't think I even made it all the way through this book with any of my kids because they were just kind of, I think, bored with it, frankly, if I'm completely honest. So I was like, okay, that's not working. What's next? So after that, someone I was friends with at the time mentioned that her child was also bored with that, and then she heard in a group that this was a book, and it's the reading lesson, and it's Teach Your Child to Read in 20 Easy Lessons. Okay, I know it says 20 easy lessons, but it's not really 20 lessons. It's like 20, like, well, okay. I guess it can be technically 20 lessons, but it's gonna take you more than 20 days because each lesson is technically like 20 pages or something like that. So it does cover like certain letter sounds in each lesson, like C for cat, and then like knowing cat sat, like how those are rhyming words. Sorry, it's garbage day, so I don't know if that is really loud out there. But yeah, so then it's just like getting familiar with the beginning sounds like k, s, and ah, like an octopus. I like how there's a picture to go with the letters again, so that you have a picture to relate to the letter sound, like C for cat, like k, k, cat, and O for octopus, octopus. Like that's usually what I did with my kids anyway, is just like really overemphasizing the beginning letter. So yeah, so that is what I really liked. I like that it had little pictures to go along with it. I'm still working my way through this with my youngest two, which they're picking up on it pretty well. And then it's got like matching games, like draw the line to the letter that picture starts with, and things like that, and blending, and then just what letter's missing type thing. And then it does have little stories, so it's like, it has like, the rat ran away from the cat, he is smart, and then the kid reads your child reads a story. This one doesn't have the arrows, so you do have to like, you know, point as, like have them follow your finger as they're reading. But I do like that there's, like I said, pictures, and they're big pictures, and they're fun. Yes, they're just black and white, but they're fun. But yeah, see, you can see we're almost done with this book. But so I'm using this for my youngest ones. I did use it for some of my other kids that were struggling, some of my middle kids that were struggling, and it seemed to work a lot better. One of my kids that's a little older that's struggling is working his way through this as well, and it seems to really be helping. We may go through it again just to like try to review, but I don't know. So I highly recommend Reading Lessons. I will link this again in the comments. So yeah, super great book. I'm using it for my two youngest right now, but my two youngest kids also, since we were doing My Father's World, this came with the first grade curriculum, and this was like for half a year. It's Foundations in Phonics, easy lessons for early learning. And I feel like this combined with the reading lesson is probably what really helped them to take off. And again, with the the Masterbooks curriculum, it has the, you know, the lesson plan for each day. So what it usually was a letter of the day, and then you had to circle, I think it says to circle the N in each row and make it and say it sound. So it's like letter recognition, familiarizing themselves with the sound. And then also, this is why I hadn't done handwriting with them yet, is because they practiced their letters in their phonics curriculum. Like it showed them how to do an N, an uppercase N, and a lowercase n. I like that it did both uppercase and lowercase at the same time, because a lot of those other phonics books, it'll just be one at a time. They'll show you all the uppercase or all the lowercase for a while, and then they'll eventually introduce the other one. So I like that it got them familiar with using both. And I like that there were very thorough teacher's notes in there as well, and that the worksheets are in color. This is one that you can photocopy if you use it in your house. Again, emphasizing, if you're using it just for home use, you can make photocopies. It has that special permission in this gray box. So yeah, just not outside like in a co-op or anything. You can't use it for that, but you can use it in your own home. You can use photocopies for this. So yeah, and then it's got like fun things like a coloring page, and then there's just like, let's sing the alphabet song, and you point to each letter as you sing the alphabet song. And then it's like a picture where it's like match the beginning sound to the correct thing. So you have net, then you have dog, and then you have ant, and you're supposed to have them match the, picture to the beginning sound of that item. So it's very cool. And then I think, yeah, they have like a little picture to color at the bottom. And then I think there's a couple where it's like dot to dots. I'm trying to find one of those because the worksheet at the end of the week isn't always the same. It can be it can vary a bit. Like there's a lot of different things that they do in this. Some of it is repeat, but some of it not. So like for the letter F, they're supposed to color the fish green and yellow. Like it gives them specific colors to color it. And it also says F is for flood. During the flood, the earth was filled with water. And it has the letter in bold so that they can recognize the uppercase and lowercase letter. And that way you can emphasize, as a teacher, emphasize the letter that they're learning that week. So this was a very good book. Highly recommend it. You could use it on its own, or if you're doing Masterbooks first grade, you can just buy the whole kit and it comes with it. So it's a half a year. It's not the full year. So that's why I also wanted to do the reading lesson with my two youngest, is because I knew this was only going to be half the year and I thought they needed maybe a little more repetition than just half the year. So there's that. Another tip I have, finding things your kids are interested in. This is huge. For me, it has been anyway. Figuring out what your kids are interested in and buying books based on their interests, because if they have something that they know, hey, I'm into that, I want to learn to read so I can read that. So that has been a huge deal. So a series, I'm going to show you a couple series. A series that some of my kids have liked. I picked this up on a whim because I was like, okay, my kids like cats and they like ninjas. So the Cat Ninja series, I got a box set of the first 3 books. I think there's more than just 3. It's funny, it's cute, it's a graphic novel. So I'll just show you a little graphic novel, Cat Ninja. And then one of the villains in this first one, is named Elon Mollusk, which I thought it was a funny play on words. But yeah, so it's just a little graphic novel. But it's probably, I'm trying to see what age group it recommends. Sometimes they say age group on here. I'm not seeing it on this one. But I would say probably 3rd, 4th grade on average. So yeah, Cat Ninja, super fun series. Cats, ninjas. I mean, and the funny thing is, my daughter, my almost 18-year-old, we bought her a cat for her 15th birthday. Technically, she was 14 at the time, but we decided to get the cat a year early, but it was technically for her 15th. But yeah, so she has a cat that is named Ninja, because he's a fully black cat. So and he's sneaky and kind of just like hides in the dark in the shadows. So she named him Ninja. So yeah, we thought it was kind of funny that we got books, graphic novels called Cat Ninja when we have a cat named Ninja. And also my kids like cats and ninjas. So another thing I discovered, so my kids like Magic Treehouse. My oldest kids could like read through one of those in like 20 minutes, a half hour. They just like loved them. And my younger kids, they like them, but the chapter books can be a little challenging with reading delays. So I discovered that they actually have graphic novels of they have the first 6 books so far. The 7th one is coming out in, I believe, September. I pre-ordered it already. And I have 5 and 6 coming today. So, because my kids are almost done with these. Well, at least one of them is. But my daughter, who has developed a love for reading recently, she's the 3rd, almost 4th grader. She will just take one of these off the shelf and will just sit on the couch and read it. But yeah, so these have been a huge hit. They're pretty simple. I would say that these probably, again, I'd say 3rd grade, but if you have a kid that's more advanced than that, I would say you could probably even start these at like 2nd grade and have a kid that would do fine on them. There's not a ton of words on the page. I feel like Cat Ninja has a lot more words on each page. Yes, it's a graphic novel, so there's a lot of pictures, but there's a lot more words. And these, it's like simple. Like it's very short, like speaking bubbles and stuff. But yeah, and super cute drawings. The art in these are really good. So yeah, my kids have really enjoyed these. Not just the one that has really taken off on reading this year, but my other kids. So On top of having them read these and finding books they read, I do have a thing that we do where I have them read to me 4 days a week. I was doing 5, but I was like, we could do 4, because my husband only works 4 days a week. So I'm like, you know, the days that he's home, we'll take a break from that. So they do 4 days of reading. They get to choose the book they read to me. And then even my youngest two, I have them read out of that reading lessons, the reading lesson book. I have them read out of that 4 days a week. And after the 4 days are done, if they did all 4 days, they get a treat of some sort. Usually it's candy, because we don't do a lot of sugar. But yeah, they get to pick a candy at the end of the week if they read all 4 days. So it's extra motivation, because I want them to stay fresh. I want them to build on that skill. So I feel like a reward is a good way to get them motivated to do it. And it has been a good motivator, actually. My kids have been like, can we read to you? I gotta get my 4 days in. And sometimes they'll miss a day if they're sick or something. And I'm like, if you're sick, you can take like a day off. It's fine. But yeah, so that's about it. Those are my tips. Just really figure out what your kids' interests are and get them books about those things. And then also the books I recommended or don't really recommend. So yeah, I will link even the books that I just showed you, the Magic Treehouse graphic novels and Cat Ninja, I will link in the description so you can find them easily and check them out if you're interested in those. So anyways, that'll do it for me today, and I hope to see you all next time. Bye!